We're going to give you the latest on the race in the Electoral College now. The Electoral College, of course, the college that actually elects the president. 538 electors there, so the magic number is 270, and you can see Donald very, very close now that Pennsylvania has been declared for him, very close to crossing that magic number of 270. He's on 264 electors. Hillary Clinton down on 215. Donald Trump also leading the popular vote. He's almost at 56 million votes, 48% of the electorate. Hillary Clinton on 54.5 million votes, 47%. So it is still quite close. Let's bring in our US correspondents, Richard Walker and Ines Pohl. Richard at the Republican camp in New York, and about 20 blocks away, Ines Pohl at the Democrats. Richard, Pennsylvania's just been declared for Donald Trump. How close are the Republicans to final victory?
They're vanishingly close now. Really, I think by my latest count, just 6 electoral votes to go. Several states still outstanding, which Donald Trump has a strong chance of winning. So it's looking like a substantial victory for Donald Trump. And right now, the Hilton Hotel behind me is under lockdown by the Secret Service, with Donald Trump expected in the building and on the stage quite soon in order to give this extraordinary thing, an acceptance speech by Donald Trump, something that just a few months ago would have seemed completely inconceivable, is about to happen.
And moving to Ines at the Democrats, of course, Hillary Clinton was expecting to make that acceptance speech. Are we hearing anything about her movements?
Well, that probably won't happen, or most definitely won't happen. I just heard that she's sitting outside here of the Javits Center, which was meant to be a huge, big victory party, the place where the glass ceiling finally got cut through, because of the first female president would move into the White House. I hear that Hillary Clinton is sitting outside in a car waiting for the election to be called, and we have to think about that. She's more than 30 years in politics, lifelong dream to move into the White House, not as the first lady, but as the first female president. And this is all imploding now. It's hard to imagine what she's going to say, and maybe in a couple of minutes here. Well, we will be here and talk about it. I just give us faces of her supporters, and they're just under shock and devastated.
Utterly despondent. Back to Richard with the Republicans. Richard, I understand the Republicans have also kept control of the Senate. They've kept control of the House of Representatives. Paul Ryan, one of the leaders of the Republican Party, has reportedly been talking already to Trump and his running mate Mike Pence, congratulating them. How huge would this victory be for the Republicans?
Well, I mean, it's a huge night of success for the Republican Party, but a success that they're not really in a position to digest right now, because this entire year has been so divisive for the party, perhaps even more so than for America as a whole. Paul Ryan is not thought to be a big fan of Donald Trump. Has been a sort of begrudging supporter of his, and that's the case also for a great many senior Republicans who think that Donald Trump is pretty much beyond the pale. Now this man is on the brink of winning the presidency on a night that has also been successful for the rest of the party. So he can plausibly make the case to the Republican Party that he has swept them along in his wake. That that their success is thanks to his success. So there's going to be a lot of sort of shifting of power in the Republican Party in the weeks ahead as he puts together his administration, picks the kind of people he wants to be governing along with him. It's going to be very interesting to see some of those people who were very sceptical about the Trump phenomenon, perhaps slightly changing their mind now and saying they might quite like to serve in a Trump administration.
And back to Ines with the Democrats. A similar question to you. What happens with the Democrat camp now? Where do the Democrats go from here, assuming that Hillary Clinton loses the election?
I mean, most of the people here are shocked, but those who kind of are shaking the shock off and thinking what will await us tomorrow. Days to come, they start talking about, wasn't it a big mistake to nominate Hillary Clinton, as everybody knew that she's just not liked by the people, but so many people hate her. So this will be a big learned, after all, through the so-called email scandal, that the whole party structure is in some ways really not working as well as it should be. One could say it is corrupt. I mean, Wassermann Schulz, the former head of the party, needed to step back just the day before the convention when Hillary Clinton was nominated as the candidate of the Democratic Party. So people are already discussing that. Plus, sure, they are also very worried that Donald Trump and the two houses now in the hands of the GOP will be able to pick at least 2, maybe 3 Supreme Court judges. And that's another big outcome of this election night we mustn't underestimate.
Richard, at the Republican camp. Richard, has there been any analysis yet of what it is that Donald Trump, what it is that his campaign did right?
Well, it did an awful lot right, Christopher. I think they're going to be writing books about this subject for a long time. But Donald Trump is a sort of politics candidate in an anti-politics climate, and I think that was he also tapped into very cannily into certain demographic groups that he then managed to mobilize on election day on a scale that really wasn't expected. He didn't have the sort of classic campaign accoutrements that Clinton had, in the sense of get out the vote operations and of foot soldiers knocking on doors and making calls. He had much less of that. It was quite an unusual campaign, run on a relative shoestring also compared to some of the bigger campaigns in recent years. So a combination of message, right man at the right time, and an interestingly run campaign.
Okay, a final question to Ines Paul with the Democrats in New York. Ines, you were suggesting already that, Hillary Clinton may simply have been the wrong candidate. She is so unpopular, although she was quite popular as Secretary of State back in 2013. Is it as simple as that? They just got the wrong